When is the best time to kill a mature buck? We asked a bunch of really skilled hunters, and all their answers may surprise you. We asked folks like Bill Winke, Greg Litzinger, and Damian Riffle, Joe Miles, and Tanner and Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline, all different skill sets, all different parts of the country. So you should be listening because there's probably someone that is similar to what you're doing in your part of the country. When is your favorite time to kill a mature buck? Leave a comment below. Let's get right into it. Here we go.
We all know November 7th is your favorite day.
Yeah.
What's your favorite October day?
29th.
29th. Why is this?
I just been lucky on the 29th. Yeah. So I don't think it really has any physiological, relationship to deer behavior. If you catch a cold front the last week of October, it's going to be really good. Whenever that is. So anything after the 25th, I feel like it's all good.
Okay.
And it almost feels like it's better during that last week of October sometimes than it is that very first week of November. And especially if you catch a cold front, gosh, it just. Because the bucks haven't really gone nuts yet. They're still kind of where trail camera pictures say they should be, but now they're just moving more. They're more vulnerable, especially the bucks that you're trying to hunt are more vulnerable, I think, in late October to you because they're still right there.
Would you say that's one of the best times to kill a mature buck then?
Yeah.
One that you want to kill?
I think so. I think late October is the best time to kill a big whitetail that you've got a bead on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the really early season, right when the season opens, if you know where that buck is because he hasn't been pressured the entire year, I think probably the second best time to kill a mature buck is right before the rut starts when he's anxious and he wants to get up and move around, really checking scrapes. I think those are the two best times to kill a mature buck.
So that last week of October, 25th through the 31st, so to speak.
I've killed some big ones then. Matter of fact, my two biggest deer have come during that period, but then I've also killed some really early in South Carolina on strict feeding patterns.
In your opinion, if you had to boil it down, when do you feel is the best time of year to kill a mature buck? If you had to just boil it down in the most basic way.
I still will say if you're on a patterned big deer that last week of October, and if you can get that, and it's so be it the year that this all comes together, if you can get that new moon in that last 10 days of October, I don't think I would have any better confidence in going in to kill a deer than that time. Because, once November hits and that Halloween, you can have these deer on pattern and getting photos of them. That deer might be 3 miles away that day.
That, yeah.
You don't know. You could be sitting in that stand in October. Or at least when I go in, that buck is probably within 500 yards of me. And going in knowing that, like the
it's another
expectation,
layer of confidence.
Right.
You're there
it
to kill
just gives
something.
it to you. And same thing late season. You get that big, heavy snowfall, you give them food, or you have a food plot that they're hitting. I don't want to say it makes it easy late season, but there's a lot of different levels to contend with in late season. You can throw out a bag of corn, whatever the case may be, and 1.5 feet of snow, those deer need to eat. But at the same time, those deer have been hunted all year round. You're going to have high numbers of deer.
Super open.
They're on edge. They know that, every corn pile, there's some fat hunter sitting in a tree, 20 yards away wanting to shoot them, So you have to, and typically the deer that you're going to want to kill is the last one coming in. So you have to get by all those other deer coming in first in order to get the opportunity at your deer. So I don't want to say late season sitting over a corn pile is easy, but if you figure out the formula and use it to your advantage, it definitely can be a very highly successful time.
When do you think the best time of year to kill a mature buck is?
Well, this style, I would have to say probably November 13th through November 17th for a fully locked down phase across the Midwest.
You're targeting
I
that
think that's
lockdown.
the peak, and I like peak because then I don't have to piss around. I got stocks.
Yeah.
If they're a cruise stage, I might not be a good enough hunter when they're cruise stage, but it's hard for me to head them off and kill them, by calling them.
He's got short legs.
Yeah, well, you get my point, But
Yeah, no, I totally get that, though.
at least I know when I go then to most of my states that I hunt, I get locked down bucks and I have fun and I get stocks every day. That's where I'm at with it.
Jared?
So I would say that. Now, if I was hunting a different style or a different way, I would change that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you that
Yeah,
question.
timber hunting, I believe, even our style, I believe. It's just, for me, it's not as good of odds, but I believe if I was hunting timber, I would do more. I've been more successful in a little bit of a cruise stage.
Yeah, I'd agree
because
with
I
that,
can
too.
call deer in.
Yeah.
I can have deer just fall into my lap when I'm
Yeah.
walking through the timber. That's more the 27th of October through November 5th. I like, and very successful doing that when I was younger and stuff. Which there's two sides of that coin, but yeah, lockdown's great in the timber as well because
If you can
get away
find
with
them.
some stuff and see deer, but in all reality, I probably, if I was walking timber, it would be in the cruise stage, so I can call some deer in too, not just all visually
Sure.
locked down.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say pretty similar. I do like the early season challenge because their wits are
Oh, very high. They're not
very high. So I loved playing that game with that brow tine deer
Yeah.
because he's on point. You know, he was really just.
Yeah, he
taking it
wasn't
to another
loopy
level.
yet.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, he was super smart as is. Like I think even during the rut, I mean, we were into November, and he's acting like a deer in September.
Yeah, he had
like
deer
just-
with him. They weren't even fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird.
Very late rut there. In that
So
area.
I would agree with Tanner in the timber, the cruising. But one thing I love to do during lockdown, once I know they're in lockdown and I'm not seeing all these young satellite bucks running around, I'll walk through the woods till I jump them.
That's right.
Till I jump
Or
the
catch
big
'em.
buck on the doe, and then I give them a half hour, 45 minutes, and I know if it's timber, they're only going 400 yards max, but they're probably going to be around 200 yards out in this direction right here. I know in the next 5-10 acres, I got a big buck, so now I just give them half hour, 45 minutes, put the brakes on. Okay, this is how I'm going to approach that spot with the wind. But I'm guaranteed, I shouldn't say guaranteed, but it's been pretty high rate to that. They don't go like you would think
Any
when
big
they're
buck
locked down.
I've jumped in the rut, whether it's open country, they go farther. But
Yeah,
it
open
seems,
country
it seems
definitely.
within 20 yards, his focus is no longer on you. He
Yeah.
looks, where's the doe running?
Where's the doe running?
And
Yeah.
then he tries to obviously stop her instinctively.
I've had them barely run out of sight in the timber.
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
yards,
I've had him
125
barely run
yards.
I've bet him
And
barely
put the
run.
brakes on, and I put the brakes on, and I don't know that they're right there. I know they're somewhere up there, and I put the brakes on for half hour, 45 minutes, and creep, and I make it 20 yards, and I got the revisual, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What the heck is
What
going
are
on?
you doing?
But I just covered a whole bunch of acreage in the timber. I know I'm in lockdown, so there's no point in me going slow here. I might as well just walk through. I did it on accident. We did it on accident twice
Before you even knew
Then
it.
you're
before
like,
I started
aha.
actually implementing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, aha.
Ah.
Yeah.
Another way.
Are you seeing in that 30, 45-minute time frame that they're laying back down?
Yeah, a lot of
lot of
times.
times,
Yeah.
Yep.
Just, I'm not, the buck has long forgot about you.
Yeah, yeah.
But that half hour, 45 minutes just allows the doe to get recomfortable.
Yeah.
If she's the one that pegged the operation.
Sure. Which most of the time when you guys are in that situation, the doe is the one
Yep.
catching you guys.
Yeah.
When do you feel it is the best time of year to kill a mature buck?
October.
Like October's a big month. So what part of October?
I would say we're going to go October 15th through 20th.
It's a pretty exciting time. And what is your setup where you've been most deadly in that time frame? Is it in relation to scrapes, bedding?
Bedding near
combination of the
scraping
two?
areas.
Okay.
Rub lines feeding bedding areas or rub lines feeding scrape areas.
Okay.
Something along those lines. But morning, hunting over bed in that time period is just, it's epic. We all know everybody's got cameras now. And you look back if you could look back 10 years of camera data, you'll start seeing big boys show up October 20th.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah.
It's
And like I talked to Johnny about this, there's mature bucks that are secretive, but that's the time of year they make one giant loop, find out where the food is, find out where the does are, and go back into hiding until it's go time. They want to know what's going on, where hunters are at, where the does are at, where the foods are at. They daylight a little bit more because, they got to know what's going on, because if a hot doe comes in 3 days later, they need to know what they need to do, so to speak. Because especially with the doe groups, it's so dependent on food. You got especially in the big woods, oaks. It's like that it might be hot over here or over here. But that buck's living in a swamp. He don't know where any doe is. He's already missed the game, so to speak, when that first one comes in the heat.